Hello everybody and welcome back to the Rodea the Sky Soldier playthrough. It's time for chapter 22, the Hyperdimensional Fortress.
This brings back memories. Ion, make sure you're well hidden.
I'll monitor things with Mr. Detecto.
Giardo.
Defying my orders. You should know your place as an effective product.
I'm sorry. My creator did a terrible job when he made me.
Your impudence function will be useless from here on. A school of fresh, lively soldiers is waiting for you, just ahead.
Ha! Bring him on! I gotta use that capsule to advance. Giardo should be in his throne room.
So, let's enter that kind of transporter and begin the level proper. I thought I'd try and be smart and see if there was anything above the transporter, and no, there's not.
This is gonna be a bit tricky.
And,
Rodea,
oh, this music.
somewhere.
It's wonderful.
Weird of Giardo to call his soldiers fresh
I mean,
and lively.
I believe that this piece of music is called The Face Reality. And,
Same as the others.
yeah, I'm pretty sure that is correct. It's a phenomenal kind of final level type piece of music. It's great. And it's proof of kind of just how good Rodea's soundtrack is, really. Because you may not have necessarily noticed it so much before, because you've been too focused on other things, but like pretty much all of the level music is just either, well, it's just really catchy and really enjoyable to listen to. It's great. And here we have what I think are actually our final level? Our final enemies.
Have to line it up with a gap just right.
Now, these guys are really mean, and I am, for the most part, just going to ignore them entirely. Because the faff of having to get the little eye in the middle is, I can't be bothered. And considering you can just completely ignore them, I'm just going to totally do that.
Hey, can I ask you, what were you doing 1,000 years ago?
But yeah, these two final standard levels are just really epic finales, shall we say. I mean, you've got the whole space thing going on in terms of the background. It's an amazing background. And in many ways, I suppose, this has got a very final rush thing about it, like, you know, the end of Sonic Adventure 2, both Sonic's level and Shadow's level. Except obviously it's a bit slower than that, but it's got the same aesthetic, and really it's an aesthetic that I think works quite often for finales. I mean, when you have these sorts of insane narratives where, like, stakes are just out of this world bonkers, space is usually a good kind of place to end it, really. Also, those rails are slightly mean, because they don't tell you that to use them, you need to boost attack them. I can't remember how long it took me to figure that out the first time round, but eventually I did, and it's just like, oh, okay, I get it now. It can get slightly frustrating to deal with them when you use the gauntlet, because then you're kind of just charging all over the place, but they're quite cool, and I suppose is another little homage, I suppose, to the end of Sonic Adventure 2 in that respect, although I don't know whether Yuji Naka had anything to do with Sonic Adventure 2, I don't think he did, but eh. But have you noticed that Yuji Naka tends to have, well, at least he seems to have, a fondness for creations disobeying their creators. 'Cause, I mean, you had it with Knights, because obviously Knights disobeys Wiseman, and there's a lot of narrative focus on Knights' relationship with Wiseman, although I would say more so in Journey of Dreams than Knights into Dreams, but still you get the gist. Now I was being a bit of a pillock with these enemies. All you've got to do is just make sure that you launch as soon as they've finished their attack, and then you'll just kind of destroy all of them in one fell swoop, and it's wonderful. But yeah, there's, I would say, one specific moment in the entirety of these two levels that you're going to see in this particular part, because I was able to fit them all in, that I would say is just really mean. It's going to come up pretty much at the end of either this one or the next one, and it's easily the worst bit of level design that they chose to go with in this particular chapter. Also, there you just saw what happens when you accidentally gauntlet attack things that you don't mean to. It's because obviously you're using exactly the same button to do the boost attack as you are to kind of get to other places, so it can get a little bit messy. But as long as you just hold the A button and don't release, then you should be safe. Also, gosh darn it, so close to that, but no cigars, unfortunately. And I've noticed that I've said that quite a lot throughout these, well, last part in this one, but oh well. And for God's sake, Rodea, stop locking on! Just want to go along the rail, please. Oh, here it is! So, you have got to get through the gap in these rather cool looking force fields. The frustration is that the time frame in which you've got to get through these things is very small. So what I've found to be a reasonably good way of getting through them is to get onto this platform, and then as soon as you see a gap, go up or down on the Wiimote. Because that is your safest way of getting through, because I'm pretty sure you don't have time to run through the gap, and you certainly don't have time in any other way to fly through it. So just waiting on the small little edge here and then quickly flicking is your safest bet for progressing. I died numerous times in this little section when I first played the game. It frustrated me to no end. It's the only bit that I would say is cheap, because you're so close to the end, and obviously just 3 hits of these things and you're dead, but if you aren't sure of the timing, it's so easy to just lose all your health, and then you're absolutely buggered. And then say you get to this bit and just geez, you just really screwed. Although I have to say, using the gauntlet on these enemies is so satisfying. Because you just obliterate them in just so quickly. It's wonderful. But there we go. Pretty sure the chapter is over. So, it's chapter 21, done and dusted. And bar the kind of last rather cruel section, it's pretty cool and pretty okay, to be honest. Obviously there is that difficulty spike in terms of what it's expecting you to be able to do, but outside of that, it's alright. And now, it's time for our final standard level before the end game kicks in.
It's just through here.
Giardo must be panicking by now.
Panicking, huh? I don't even remember what panic feels like.
Giardo.
Come to my throne room, and if you can, do your best, Rodea.
Falcus! I'll finish you off right here.
Too bad. I'm not in the mood anymore. I suppose you've entertained me enough already. I count on you to make something unpredictable happen.
Knock it off!
So here we go, chapter 23, Fly to the Emperor's Throne. And I hope you guys also noticed the slight poor mixing on the audio there that they did, with characters cutting off each other. It's another little nod to Sonic the Hedgehog, I would have thought. Yeah, we are really close now to the end of this game, and that was one of the stupidest moves I could have possibly made. And we are into a rather interesting section, because you have got an absolutely ridiculous number of these guys. And, I mean, if you want to be able to do anything successfully, you need to get over here to the gun. And that'll, well, for starters, fully heal you. I mean, you can deal with these guys more satisfactorily. But also, I mean, there's this legacy medal here, so why would you not want that?
Let me know if these sections are worn out.
Okay.
I'll fix these super fast.
But this section is rather mean, because you've got to get in such a position that you can, you know, fire at these guys, but it can be a little bit finicky. Thankfully, once you've destroyed a certain amount of them, you can just jump straight into, you know, the shooter thingy, and then you're safe! And into the bonus room we go. I can't remember whether this is a... Oh. I'm not even allowed to try it because I'm not at full health. God damn it! It's the one... Well, it's one of the frustrations I do have with Rodea's bonus rooms, is that you can't get through most things unless you're at full health. And it's very easy to forget that fact. So, yeah, if I'd just gone a little bit further, like to there, I could have gone into that bonus room and gotten the legacy medal. But nope, I had to rush through it. Terrible decision.
Who was it that woke you up again? Right. I saw your legs sticking out of the ground. You were buried in the desert head first. I pulled you out and popped the
Ion, this is probably not the time for
Thanks.
having slightly comic anecdotes, if I were you.
Pop me out like a radish.
Now at that point I think, well, you can go up top, but obviously the way that you're meant to go is this way, and I don't know what I was thinking about trying to charge up into the air there. That just seemed like a really poor decision, if you ask me. I think it was because he was flying up in the air and I thought, I should be able to get to the enemies from here, but no, gotta go a bit further before that is possible. But I suppose seeing as we are getting really close to the end of playthrough, and I do mean really close, like you've got one more part of the story remaining. That's your lot. I wonder what kind of everyone thinks about Rodea having watched the entire story now, because or at least watched most of the gameplay and the general principle of how this thing works. Because, as obviously I have mentioned multiple times, I really do think that Rodea has been monumentally screwed over by Kalakaua. Because, as I'm sure you can tell, it's a really enjoyable game to play. Like, it's got a lot of really cool ideas going on in it. And it's just a lot of fun. I mean, obviously if you hate motion controls, it's not going to enter into your favourites immediately. Heck, maybe not even at all. But it tries. And there's a lot of heart into the way everything works. It certainly could have done with a bit more polish, but then perhaps that might have come with a bigger budget. And considering well, this was Prope's first game, and potentially considering it's gonna have, well, it has bombed, it's potentially gonna be their last. So it's really, really sad. Because there's as I said, there's a lot of good ideas here. And what you have is, as I described it in my review, a diamond in the rough. Like, it's not perfect. It's definitely not perfect by any means. But, as I think I say far too often, the thing has a lot of charm. And charm goes a long way to making a game experience good. And I will forever curse Kalakaua for what they did to this game. And in the extras I will show you exactly what they did to this game. Because I think you need the visual aid to be able to understand properly what happened. But here we go, the final stretch. I don't know why we needed to go up in the lift to then go into another random dimension, but okay. Now this is a gauntlet. You're going to have to defeat every single enemy here, including the really, really, really mean spiky things. But seeing as you have got a reasonable amount of room to, well, move about in, you should be okay, to be honest, unless you do something stupid like that. If you do something stupid like that, then of course you are going to get hit and suffer for it. And there's the spiky enemies. But thankfully they don't tend to move fast enough to be able to get to you, and I mean, that was just how quickly we can defeat them. But you kind of do want the gun to be able to do it successfully. And you can see our final destination off in the distance there. It's not long. And Oh, I remember this one. Oh, this is easily one of the glitchiest slash hilarious bonus rooms, because that happens. I don't know what it is, because what obviously the game wants you to do is it wants you to ride that up and not get hit by the force fields, which is easily possible. I mean, I did it there with very little trouble, but it's just ridiculous. Because I think what happens is that it kind of, the platform flings you up and then catches you, and then it doesn't quite know what to do with Rodea because it kind of just keeps smacking him in. And that was my representation of him smacking it in. I don't know what you were thinking that sounded like. But that was our gold legacy medal, and this is the end of the chapter. We only have 2 chapters of Rodea the Sky Soldier remaining, and it's the end of the game. So, Gyardo is right up ahead. It is indeed finally happening. It's time to end this and save Garuda once and for all.